Ladies and gentlemen, Izzy here, and for those of you who just watched the stream, I hope you enjoyed. I had a blast. Now, you may notice I was not playing World War II in the stream as I usually do. Now, because of that, I figured it would be appropriate to discuss a topic brought up yesterday in a video by TheXclusiveAce. And I will have the link to that in the description if you guys want to check that out. But the subject of the video was, is Call of Duty World War II dead? Now, Ace raised some good points, citing that just under 3 million people play this game every week, which is pretty good considering all the hype Black Ops 4 rightfully generated, and yes, I'm extremely excited for that as well. But yeah, pretty good numbers for this stage and its life cycle, so that being said, I would have to agree with Ace on this one in saying this game is far from dead. I know I still enjoy playing the game and grinding to level up with the goal of reaching Master Prestige in mind. Now, speaking of Prestige, as in Prestige is Key, he also made a video on this topic in a direct response to TheXclusiveAce, and of course I will have that video in the description as well for you guys to check that out. Now, Prestige also seemed to agree with Ace in saying that this game is not dead, but where his response really hit home with me was when he started talking about content. He said that this game, technically speaking, is not dead. I mean, look at the numbers, they're not bad. But from a content perspective, he said it is. Now, what he meant by that is there is just a complete and utter lack of content in World War II. From Master Prestige rewards to the non-existent paint shop. I mean, where the hell is that? It's been like 4 months. Now, supposedly, there will be an update tomorrow, hopefully addressing some of these content issues in World War II. But as a longtime fan of the franchise, I feel that being 4 months post-launch and still having a game that's incomplete is just, well, it's unacceptable. But I will say that I am glad to see Sledgehammer at least trying still after Michael Condrey and Glenn Schofield left for Activision. Now, considering both Condrey and Schofield's absence, I feel it's appropriate to attempt to answer a question that I'm sure is on the minds of a lot of bored or frustrated fans, including myself. Why is this game still incomplete? Well, here's my theory, and before I get really into that, I'm going to start by looking at the little things that I've noticed in the game. Just very, very lazy things that I've noticed. Now, we know there's a lack of content and cool features, but piled on top of that is just laziness. Like I said, pure laziness. If you run around headquarters, you'll see what I'm talking about. We have so many duplicated NPCs, it's crazy. I mean, seriously, there's this girl, she's everywhere, just littered all over the headquarters. Oh, also, if you look at the gestures, it's so painfully obvious that this game was not finished. I mean, there are tons of gestures with different names that do the same exact thing. And not only that, but there are some gestures that the name doesn't really match the actual gesture. It's just lazy. Now, the icing on the lazy cake is the forgotten content. Forget Paint Shop and Prestige rewards, this game doesn't have any maps. I mean, 9 maps at launch? Now, I know this whole 9 maps thing is just a very generic gripe that you're going to find on YouTube. Everybody says it, but hopefully this theory explains the incomplete game and also sheds light on the recent promotions of Condrey and Schofield, founder and co-founder of Sledgehammer Games, I might add. To understand the lack of content in this game, we need to go back to May of 2016. For those unfamiliar, that month was the reveal of the most infamous and most disliked reveal in history, the reveal of Infinite Warfare. Now, this reveal, as most of you are aware, went over like a lead balloon, with the community earning over 3 million dislikes. Well, why is that important, Izzy? Well, I'll tell you why. I'm willing to bet that day, Eric Hirschberg, then CEO of Activision, a bigwig at Activision, gave our friends at Sledgehammer Games a call, just wanting to know, hey guys, what you working on? To which I'm almost certain the Sledgehammer team informed him of their work on Advanced Warfare 2. Not World War II, but Advanced Warfare 2. Now, this information made Hirschberg's wallet cry, which compelled him to tell the folks at Sledgehammer to kill it. Kill Advanced Warfare 2 right where it stands. Now, I'm no developer, but being told to scrap a game a little over 2 years in development has to sting, or, you know, be a major pain in the ass. But if you don't want that ass fired, you do what you're told. So they did, and at this point, Mr. Hirschberg and Activision could rest easy and weather the Infinite Warfare storm, knowing that next year, 2017, they have the easiest marketing strategy of all time: boots on the ground. After pushing the community to the edge with advanced movement, those 4 magic words would be music to the community's ears and money to Activision's wallets. With those buzzwords, and those buzzwords alone, Activision would have the easiest sell they've had in years. All Condrey and company had to do was execute, abandon a project they'd been working on for 2 years, and hastily make a game whose only objective was to capitalize on buzzwords like franchise roots and boots on the ground. That's it. That was all World War II had to do, and it did, which is why the sales numbers were as good as they were. Now, unfortunately enough for the community, we're stuck with a horrendously incomplete game because all that had to happen in Activision's eyes were those initial sales. As a result of that development goal, we received a rather shallow and uninspired game that we're stuck with now months later, wondering about additional content and other content that was once promised. Now, let me say, in this whole mess, it's Sledgehammer that my heart goes out to. They've had to face the ugliest of this community and have had to play boogeyman for the past few months, answering for the shitty situation Activision forced upon them. Speaking of Activision, Condrey and Schofield demonstrated that they could play ball, which of course is good in the eyes of Activision. But why would founder and co-founder abandon ship right in the middle of their game's life cycle? Well, given this was not a passion project by any stretch of the imagination for these guys, and more of something that they had to do, they don't give a shit. Their heart was nowhere in this game from its inception. They wanted to make Advanced Warfare 2, and here they're being told, no, you need to make this game. I'm pretty sure that's going to ruffle a few feathers at Sledgehammer. And maybe another reason for abandoning ship, I would theorize to almost conspiracy levels, would be the termination of Sledgehammer Games in Call of Duty's 3-year dev cycle. But why keep the founders of a supposedly failed studio? Well, because they could play ball, plain and simple. And maybe Activision felt they owed them after nearly ruining the studio they co-founded, but that's just another theory within a theory. I mean, we're just talking about theories here, guys. But yeah, I mean, to wrap up, this game doesn't have nearly enough content because this game was never supposed to happen. We would have seen Advanced Warfare 2 if it were not for the nightmarish reveal of Infinite Warfare. I also have no doubt that if this game were given the proper 3 years that it deserved, I could argue that this could have been one of the best games we've had in years. But to Sledgehammer Games' credit, given the shitty situation and the limited amount of time, I think they did okay. I think they did okay. As incomplete as this game is, I still enjoy playing it and probably won't stop until Black Ops 4's release. So, to answer the initial question of whether or not this game is dead, I would say no, or maybe as PrestigeIsKey said, yes and no when considering new and exciting content. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Is this game dead? And what do you think of my theory? You putting on that tinfoil hat with me, or will you call me crazy? Let me know. Alright you guys, that about does it for this video. I want to thank you all for your continued support. I love ya, and I hope you all take it easy, and I will see you in the next video. Later!
Save me.